Welcome back to Moincruft Survival Mode Episode 2. I am Alex, also known as Solanus Dracone, and today we're going to be sorting out getting some of our renewables together. As such, I'm going to go ahead and use my last couple of sticks to make a stone axe, because that's going to make getting more tree flesh easier. And one of the things you'll want to do is just start killing trees, basically. There's a lot of good reasons for cutting down as many trees as you can around your home. Obviously the wood, but also you don't want to have too many trees close to where your actual door is. The problem you're going to face is that monsters will run underneath the trees for shade when the daylight comes, and you don't want them to be right in front of your face when you come out there. So just make sure that you get rid of all the trees that are in the immediate area surrounding your front door. Okay, got these out of the way. Again, I'm going to want to collect birch saplings here. So as soon as I see some starting to drop, that's what I'm going to do. Another thing you might want to start doing is find some grass to knock out, and that's mainly so that you can actually get your hands on some seeds. And I usually like to keep going until I've got about 64 seeds together. We're not going to focus on that just this moment. I'm just going to look around at my handiwork. Okay, things seem fine. Going to range a little bit further afield, just again to clear out the area immediately around my door. Chop down some wood, and it's a good idea to kind of take stock of where you're at right now. Chop, 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 chop. Take out one or two more trees, and then we're going to do something that is very important to do as well. It's not, I guess it's not critical, but it's just a super good idea to do fairly early before you've gone out exploring a ton of stuff. So let's just get this last tree out of the way, and let us begin the construction of our monolith. Now, generally, I like to use the trash rocks for this. The granite, the andesite, and the diorite, which we haven't encountered yet, these are completely useless blocks. They have absolutely nothing of any value to them. They're just decorative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a spot in some water. Within the water, it's very important to be in the water, and we'll find out why in a minute. And I'm just going to build a gigantic, massive tower of blocks. And usually I'll go about 64 high, but you know, you can make it as high as you want. You want to build it in the water because at some point you're going to have to come down from this shit. And when you come down, you basically want to be doing it into a spot you're not going to die, so some water would be good. Now, contrary to popular belief, it is not 2 blocks of water that guarantees you not to die. 1 block is just fine to fall into. I'm just going to keep building up until I've gotten rid of all my trash rocks. And don't worry, I'm probably not going to hit the 256 world height limit here. But another good reason for building up this high is it lets you see around, you know? Look around. Maybe, actually this is a bit too high, so let me go back down as far as where the cobblestone ends. I guess you probably don't want to make it too damn high, because you want to be able to see down and see what's around you. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop down to the length, or to the height of the cobblestone there. This granite, or whatever the hell this stuff is, yeah, granite, I'm just going to be throwing it out. And yeah, I've got a stone axe ready to go, stone pickaxe. You want to take a look around when you've gotten to a sufficient height. And the idea is, see if you can spot any villages. Villages are incredibly useful things to find. If you can find a village, oh, nice to know there's some lava over there. That's good. If you can find a village, then that's practically survival guaranteed right there. If you can actually spot a village, then that'll pretty much mean that you've got everything you need in order to survive. Now that looks suspiciously like a fortress on the ocean over there. Well, not going to investigate it now. Let me go ahead and just drop into the water nice and safe. And that's my monolith. So anywhere I go, as long as I'm not too terribly far away, I will be able to find my way back home just by looking at where the monolith is. Now you also notice I got some birch saplings. This is exactly what I wanted to get. So birch saplings obtained. Let's just go ahead and start trying to get our hands on some seeds. And that's going to take a little while. So let me do this. This is going to be kind of a good idea. Let's go ahead and put a torch right in front of our door to have some light there. And there's plenty of grass over here, so I'm just going to kind of go around collecting wood, collecting saplings, and collecting seeds. And I'll catch you guys up as soon as I've got 64 seeds ready to go. Okay, and after whacking around a fairly sizable amount of bushland here, I have managed to get myself together 64 seeds. Now, it's probably a good idea to start heading home because the sun is going down, and I've got the wood available to make my bed. And that's where, you know, having sheep around at the beginning is going to be a real boon, because if you can just get that 3 wool and make that bed, then you're going to be able to just sleep through the night and get back on with productivity. So any 3 wool will do. It doesn't matter what color at all in the slightest. And I usually like to plunk it down, bam, right in the middle of the room next to my torch. Yes, I'm keeping the torch on the floor there. So just going ahead and taking a quick nap. And daylight has come and all is safe again. So now that I've got my seeds together, it's time to look into making myself a little bit of a farm. Now, you're going to want a stone hoe, or just a hoe of any magnitude really for that. A stone hoe is just easy to make. And you're going to want to see if you can get together a fairly decent spot next to some water. Now, there's a couple ways to go about making a farm, but for right now, the best way to do it is just if you've got some water that you can work up against, just work with that. Alright, so ideal circumstances for a farm is if you can, well, let me clear away these damn flowers. God, I don't like all the flowers. If you can make a bit of land that is 4 by 16 that butts up against water, you've got yourself some farmland. So this is up against water. If I can just kind of, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is deep enough to make into some farmland. Now, since this is where my farm is going to begin and end, let me just go ahead and corner that. There we go. And I'll corner that up as well. Why not? See, so this is 4 deep, 4 in from the water. Now, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So right up to about here. Good, good. That'll work for me. So this is the spot where my farm ends. And I'm just going to attempt to clear out some dirt here. Not specifically doing it for the purposes of, you know, putting dirt down or getting dirt away, but you just want to have that 4 by 16. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and this will be our 16. Great. So that's 16 long, but the problem is that it's not all up against the water. Well, that's just fine and dandy. We're just going to try and lengthen it a bit. All right. It's very important to remember that your 4 up against water is kind of a mandatory rule. And I'm digging by the corners for right now because I just want to kind of avoid the way that water tends to, I don't know, lose its blocks, so to speak. If you go corner-wise like this, then what you're going to find is the water will flow in nice and even to make a proper full-on water block, because water is self-sustaining. Water will replicate itself. Water will regenerate itself, if it's done right. Okay, so I've got this lovely little strip of land here. Let me clear out some area around it. Lovely little strip of land that is 4 by 16. Let's go ahead and just hoe the shit out of that. Now, it is 4 long, 4 deep rather, because when you make farmland, it has to be up against water, or else your plants are just going to die. Okay, that's a bit further than I wanted to go. That looks ugly. I'm going to kill that and put it back in. So, water will seep in to about 4 worth. Okay, it'll go into about 4 depth there. And that's why I chose 64 seeds to get, because 16 times 4 is 64. It's a good number. I'm also going to do one other thing, and that is I'm going to create a little bit of a perimeter sort of a stone barrier, if you will. Doesn't have to be stone, it could be dirt, it could be any block, but I'm going to just create this barrier against the water, and we'll see later on why I like to do that. Just clear out these flowers. God, there's so many flowers. God, get away, you dang weeds. Alright. Part of the reason why I like to build a perimeter around my garden is, number one, when I go through and start, harvesting, it prevents a lot of the shit from falling into the water. But number two is you really don't want to step onto farmland if you can help it. The problem is if you step on farmland, it can quickly just go back to being dirt, and as well as being annoying because you got to re-hoe the area to make it farmland again, it also kind of glitches out sometimes and you get stuck. So you can just kind of go around the corners here, and just holding down the right mouse button, I am laying down a solid 64 seeds right here. Boom, 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 boom. Go around to the other side. 64 seeds. Excellent. Okay, so wheat is the simplest crop. It takes a long time to get around, so that's why I say, kill some animals and get some other food sources, at least preliminarily. But wheat is going to be your simplest crop to grow. Wheat can be turned into bread. Bread is, while it is a very simple food source, it is at least one that you can reliably reproduce constantly. So wheat is just a good thing to start with. Now, frankly, I'd love to find a village so that way I could get some potatoes, because potatoes are even better for food, and we'll get into the whole, resource to food conversion later on. Wheat's actually got slightly piss poor resource to food conversion, but, it's what's available. So we got that taken care of, and that's great. Now the next thing I want to accomplish is my tree farm. Now I'd love to have about 10 or even 12, or heck, even up to 16 birch saplings to set down, but 5 is okay to start with. So my requisite, again, is a bit of short flat land. And this is a pretty good area over here, actually. That broad spot right there would be actually pretty ideal to put my orchard upon. So let's go ahead and get on that. Now I've got a plenty of cobblestone here, and I've got plenty of torches. I don't have a shovel. I should probably go make a shovel. This will make things a little bit quicker. I'm just gonna run back to the hot spot, to his house, to the humpity bumpity boo, and make myself a stone shovel because I don't have iron yet. Boom. I like to put my shovel in the number 4 slot. That's just me. How much sunlight do we have? We got some time. We got plenty of time. We only got 5 birch saplings, but the beautiful thing about farming your own trees is that they'll create their own saplings after you chop them down. Look at this Jesus cross right here. So let's just go ahead and start creating our little orchard. Not really a whole lot we really need, honestly, so let's see. It's fairly wide in this direction. Tell you what, I'll just start over here and just sort of work my way forward. So in order to grow some trees, I like to set up several little rings of stone. I build out a ring that is 3 by 3, and I leave the center intact, and I ring it with cobblestone. The main reason I do this is because I know that if I space these correctly, that I will be able to have all my trees grow. And you want to make sure you give at least one space between each of these stones. So as you can see here, another ring of stones goes down, and they are 1 block apart from each other. Likewise, if you're going in this direction, then bam, put some stones down, you're good. It's also a great idea to put torches down. I'm just going to put a torch on the same corner on each one. And you want these torches because, well, it's not going to stop monsters seeking out and running under the trees when daylight comes, but it's at least going to stop monsters spawning directly underneath the trees, at least to some extent. And you don't want monsters spawning directly underneath your trees. That's a bad day for everybody. You want to give yourself plenty of room, really, because you might want to expand your orchard. Right now I'm starting with just 5 trees, and that's enough at least to get started with for some renewables. And so You can just plonk down your saplings in that patch of dirt in the middle of all of these, and this is far enough away from each other that all of these saplings will definitely grow into trees. It may take a while, but they will grow into trees, and what's beautiful is that when they're done growing, they will drop more saplings, and so you can expand your farm. Again, I usually go up to 12, maybe even 14 if I'm really hungry for that sort of a thing, but you kind of get the general idea. So my renewables are pretty well set up, and day 2 is coming to a close. So day 3, that's going to be where we focus upon making our mine shaft, setting up our mining situation, because this is Minecraft after all. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. Once again, I am Alex, also known as Solinus Dracone, and this has been Moincruft. Thank you very much, and good night.